Hey CrossFit Throne, happy Monday. 1 week from today, we'll have people back in this room. Thank God that day's coming. So glad to have you guys still with us. Hope you've been following along on YouTube or in Throne Family, and I hope that these videos have helped you at least a little bit as you've not been able to be in here. And I also understand that there's some of you who are going to have to stay on Zoom because we're not going to allow you to bring your kids in here. It would increase the capacity of people in the room, and that doesn't jive with what the local guidelines are telling us, or state or local. And so we are going to continue the Zoom classes, and they'll be concurrent with our regular classes. There's some sanitization things that you guys are going to have to help us with. There's some equipment things that us as coaches are going to have to help you guys with. And just organizing the room and the flow of traffic such that we have people coming in and leaving into a very clean environment, up to and including when we do Murph in a couple weeks. So that being said, today's workout is 4 5-minute rounds. That's only 4 rounds of 5 minutes each. Within that 5 minutes, you must complete a 400-meter run, 20 push-ups, 30 air squats. Then you get to rest in the remaining time. If you do well, then you end up resting as much as you work. If you don't do well, then you're going to have a little bit less rest. And the idea is to at least rest for a minute and a half. To break that down, if your 400-meter run is going to be beyond 2 minutes long, then pick a distance that you can cover in about a minute 40, minute 45, and just stay on that and don't back off the pace at all. On the other hand, if you've got a sub 2 minute 400 meter already, throw down and go. See how far and how many rounds you can keep your 400 meters as far under 2 minutes as possible. For the push-ups, I want you to choose a scaling that allows you to complete all 20 unbroken. If it's with a weight vest, cool, do that. If it's deficit with a weight vest, cool, do that. On the other hand, if you find yourself need to be on a box, I'll show those here in a second, or if you need to elevate the surface somewhat, or even some of you don't have a box, so you're going to do push-ups on your knees, please choose those options. I want you to get those done as close to unbroken as possible, at least through the first 2 rounds, if not all 4 rounds. I had trouble on my 4th round, and I had to break them up, but that's okay. That's me. That was my struggle. And then for the air squats, virtually unbroken. Just keep going. Your goal is to try and get 1 squat every second or 1 squat every 1.5 seconds. Maybe 1 every 2 seconds if you need to slow things down and bring yourself up to speed. But it's going to be difficult to work on because then you're going to be, if you take too long in the work, then you end up getting too little rest. And we want to give you at least a minute and a half rest, like I said a second ago. So if it's 2 minutes on the run and a minute on your push-ups and a minute on your squats, you only get a minute of rest. So you've got to work to minimize that work time in some capacity. Now for the warm-up, we want you to do the same things we typically do. Some good PVC pass-throughs, some good arm circles, some good arm circles forward and back, small circles, big circles, both are good. Do some of the world's greatest stretch. Do some jumping jacks, get your heart rate up. Hold your breath while you're doing jumping jacks until you cannot hold it any longer. Get through that, and then we'll work on the typical run warm-up, where there's butt kicks, where you're kicking your heel up to your hip and as fast as you can while keeping your knee down. And I want you to try and get about, probably about a step every 3 inches. Like try and get as few steps, as many steps as possible and as long a distance as possible. 25 feet tops for the butt kicks, the high knees, same thing there. You want to get as many steps as you can in the distance that you've set. You want to do some toes in, toes out, stepping over your feet. And you want to make sure you're opening the hip at the top of each of those steps. Heels and toes only, walking on your toes only, walking on your heels only. It feels like a kid's game, and it should be. I want you to keep going through that. Some external rotation, some punter kicks, maybe a 10-second hollow hold, making sure that we're keeping our core tight so when we run, we can stay tall and we're not bunched up here having a hard time breathing when we run. After you've gone through about 8 minutes of all of those things, just kind of building and building and building the system, making sure that you're ready for the work at hand. Then go for about a 200-meter stroll and try and measure your distance out. You're going to be looking at total run time needs to be just under a minute, if not closer to 45 seconds. maybe even further closer down to 40 seconds if you're really pushing, but 45 seconds to a minute is a casual, in my world, casual 200-meter stroll. If your 400 meters is longer than 2 minutes, then a 200 meter is not going to seem casual at that pace. But I do want you to just kind of feel good, start to learn to stay taller on your hips with your shoulders, and breathing deep as you run. And just relax. Think about conversational pace while you run. So, in the push-ups, if you need to scale them, I love a box. I love an elevated platform because it helps me diagnose push-up problems before they even begin. Even a good skilled athlete, when we get fatigued, we're going to bring our head forward and we're going to be trying to lead our head towards the box. Well, not only have I collapsed my shoulder and kind of come in here like this trying to do a push-up, but I've also increased the range of distance, so those push-ups are getting more and more difficult. Because if I go here and I lead with my head, I have to work twice as hard to get my chest to the floor. This is a broken position. I want you to think about leading with your sternum, leading with your rib cage to get to the floor. If you lead with your rib cage to get to the floor or to the edge of the box, your neck stays neutral, you stay more organized, and when you get down there, you find you make connection to that box a lot sooner than you'd think you would. I want you to try and pick an option that allows you to get about 20 unbroken through at least the first 2 rounds, if not the third and the fourth, depending on your skill level. On the squats, making sure the 2 things I want you to focus on today is strong footwork and strong rib cage, strong abs. So as you get down in the squat and come up, you're going to be really digging in with your abdominal wall. And I want you to think about belly button down, belly button up. So belly button down, belly button up. And I want you to lead with your belly button as you drive up. That's going to help you extend your hips a little bit more, maybe help you in that lower position in the squat. Again, everything that me and the coaches are working for is to help make you guys have a safe environment here so that we can tear you up with a workout and that you're not going to be torn up by a disease or a virus or whatever it is, that the focus is on increasing your health and not tearing it down. I know it's going to be weird. I hope it's not scary. I want to make sure that we're taking good care of you guys. We love you guys. See you tomorrow.